Hi and welcome to this crash course for Dungeon Defenders Redux. With its cartoony art style and the tavern keeper's cheesy jokes, you're led to believe that Dungeon Defenders is a relatively simple game, but don't be fooled by that first impression. Players keep asking me the same questions over and over again, which was the inspiration for this video. We'll go over as many tips and tricks in as little time as possible. This is not intended as a complete guide, and there's many things we won't cover, like specific maps and building in general. But it will most likely teach you a lot of useful things you didn't know. With that said, let's dive into it. Press tab to open chat and F1 for chat history. I'm surprised how many people that have logged over 100 hours in this game and don't know there is a chat history. Needless to say, it's very useful. Press O to show or hide the mob spawn lists. This applies to the map as well. Pressing P will show or hide the defenses on the map. Hold down Shift to view the map. On the left you'll see a list with items currently on the map or in a tavern. The color of the text corresponds to the color of the item on the map, in the world and in your item box, and indicates the quality of the item, for example Transcendent or Ultimate. Pressing B will toggle the item quality indicator shown below items on the ground. Keeping this on makes it easier to find the higher quality items in between all the trash. In the options you can set the minimum quality of items that should be indicated with the color code. The option in the top applies to items shown on the map, and the outlying quality at the bottom applies to your item box.
Quite the master banker.
You can trade items with other players. If these start a trade with you, then you can access the trade window by pressing U. It can also be accessed in your item box or by pressing escape and selecting a player, then clicking on initiate trade or view trade status in the center of the screen. To add an item to a trade, select it in your item box and click add to trade. You can also drag and drop items between the trade window and your item box. With Redux there's a built-in controller emulator, so you don't have to hook up a physical controller to add more than one hero to the game. This is useful when farming, as you'll get up to 4 drops instead of just 1, or for XP boosting, so you can level 4 heroes at once. To add an extra hero, press F3. F4 will add one more, and F5 another one. You can use the same keys to select which hero to control. To remove all heroes from the game except the first one, press F7. Remember to do this at the end of every game, as you can't join another lobby unless there's enough slots for all your heroes. Pressing F6 will quick add 3 heroes. You can press F8 to toggle the split screen view on and off. With multiple heroes in the game you don't have to press G for each and every one of them, you can press Ctrl G instead. You can rebind the number keys using the radial menu. Just hover the mouse over a tower or ability and then hold the number key you wish to assign it to. You can drop items on your tavern floor and they will stay there until you pick them up again. Make sure tavern item pickups at the top of the screen is set to lock. If not, change it in options. Using a summoner standing by the forge and entering Overlord mode, you can move items around to neatly organize your tavern floor items. In Dungeon Defenders, a hero can be equipped either for DPS or building defenses. Attempting to equip a hero to deal good damage and being able to survive and at the same time build powerful defenses isn't going to work. This apprentice is for building towers, therefore all of his gear provides tower stats. His resistances are terrible, but that's fine, as builders are almost exclusively used in the build phase, not the combat phase. Heroes played during the combat phase, like this monk, generally just referred to as a DPS, will instead have gear that provides hero stats as well as ideally 90% to all 4 resistances. Without resist you're not going to survive on Nightmare or Ascension. You'll get a set bonus if you wear 4 armor pieces of the same type, for example only chain or mail. If you compare an armor piece in a shop or your item box with one you're currently wearing as part of a full set, Then the armor piece will be shown with the set bonus included, which can be misleading. Taking off one of your armor pieces will remove the set bonus and cause your remaining pieces on your hero to be shown without the set bonus. This makes it easier to compare two pieces of armor. Upgrading armor for a DPS hero takes a bit more time and effort than when upgrading armor for a builder. For DPS, always start by upgrading the resistances. Hold down shift and don't let go of it. Click the highest resistance until it caps and can't go any further. Then, while still holding shift, click on another resist only once, then back to the previously capped resist. You're aiming for 41% to all resistances with the armor set bonus included. Here I'm upgrading an armor piece that's in my item box, so it's shown without the set bonus. For an ultimate piece I should aim for 29%, as that will give me 41 when the set bonus is added. When you fully upgrade any item, you get the chance to give it a name. You can always rename it later, though it does cost a bit of mana. Here I'm upgrading an armor piece that I'm wearing, so the set bonus is included. I should therefore aim for 41% on all resistances, and once I reach 41%, I'll stop upgrading the resistances. You can then spend the remaining points on whatever stat is appropriate for the hero. In this example, I'm spending the extra points in hero damage. Once you reach 41%, you can hold down Control to easily add the remaining points in one stat. Not all weapons are upgraded the same way, so take this as an example of how an apprentice weapon is usually upgraded if it's going to be used by a DPS hero, not a builder. You always want to upgrade projectile speed to 30,000 where it caps, and the number of projectiles should be maximized to whatever the specific weapon caps at. This weapon caps at 2. After maximizing those two, we should upgrade the charge rate bonus to slightly above 80%. We can then spend all the remaining upgrades on base damage. Hold down Control to do more upgrades at once. Upgrading accessories with high upgrades like 150 or more is easily worth it. After 37 upgrades, the accessory will hit 2 billion mana per upgrade and roll over to cost only 1 mana for all the remaining upgrades. This means that an accessory will never cost more than around 18 billion mana to fully upgrade. Because this accessory is supreme, the stats will cap at 500, for ultimate it's 600, for ultimate plus 700, ultimate plus plus is 999. If you get your hands on a new weapon and want to find out if it's better than what you currently have, then you can test it out risk-free in open mode. In the menu, select Export to Open and then click Yes when prompted to export. Now go back and select Open instead of Ranked. You now have access to all the same items, heroes and so on in Open as you do in Ranked, but you can upgrade them here without the risk of wasting mana or ruining an item by upgrading it in the wrong way. When you've figured out if something is worth upgrading, jump back into Ranked and do the upgrade again. What you do in Open will not in any way affect your ranked game stats or items or anything. Which stats to prioritize depends on the class of the hero and what it's used for. For an apprentice used for building towers, you prioritize damage, followed by attack rate. Hit points have very little importance for an apprentice. If your towers are taking serious damage in the first place, you need to rethink your build strategy. For a huntress used for building traps, priority should be on the trap radius, along with some damage and hit points. The same applies to auras, priority should be on radius. EVs need primarily damage and HP. Summoner minions are mostly used as walls to block off areas, so a lot of minion HP is top priority. On some maps it takes time and effort to get back to the forge in order to swap hero. Sometimes typing killme in chat is faster and easier. During the build phase you'll just die and then respawn wherever you respawn on that particular map. To set large values of mana when trading or selling items, simply use the letters M for million, B for billion and T for trillion. Entering a lot of zeros is not going to work. In the shop you can set the price for all items in a folder by setting the price on the folder itself and not the individual items. Pets, weapons and mobs deal different types of damage. For example, this phoenix pet deals fire damage as indicated by the orange damage numbers. This can be a problem as some mobs are resistant to specific types of damage. Using a pet like the snowman solves that problem as it deals generic or physical damage. If a mob is resistant to a given type of damage, a small icon will be visible next to its health bar. This spider is resistant to poison, so only the generic damage from my weapon is applied. Heroes and pets don't deal the same damage on all difficulty levels. You can test this by setting the difficulty in your tavern. On Insane and any difficulties below that, pets don't deal much damage compared to the hero. If we set the difficulty to Nightmare or Ascension, this will change so the pet now deals significantly higher damage and the monk or hero itself a lot less damage. You may have come across Void and Divine Crystals and wondered what they can be used for. Void Crystals can be used at the Void Forge in your own tavern to get one of 4 Void weapons. If you click the Feeling Lucky button, you will get one of the 4 weapons at random, but with a higher chance of better stats. The button with the question marks will get you an old one on a treadmill, which is a high-end builder pet. They vary a lot in quality, some have great stats, but that isn't always the case, as you can see on some of the other ones I got over here.
I can withstand.
Divine crystals can be used in the Divine Forge. Spending a crystal will yield some armor pieces of varying quality. There's a very low chance to get Void, Divine or Ultimate ++ armor from Divine crystals. You will get 10 pieces of armor per Divine crystal. You may have come across some coal. Coal can be found on various winter-themed maps like Winter Wonderland or Wintermire. Completing one of these maps on Nightmare or Ascension will always reward at least 1 coal per player. If you acquire 88 coal, you can get a diamond pet at the Coal Forge, similar to how you use Divine Crystals at the Divine Forge. Diamond pets used to be the best pet for builders with up to 800 in a single stat, but now there's other great options for builder pets, like Old One on a Treadmill. Every time you complete a map, the Tavern Shop will reset and offer items reflecting the difficulty of the map you just completed. So by completing any map on Ascension, the Tavern Shop will often have a Divine Crystal for sale at 50 billion mana. They generally sell to players for 200 to 300 billion apiece, so getting one for 50 billion is easy profit. The fastest way to farm for Divine Crystals is with 2 players and DPS summoners playing the Assault Challenge Pack Part 2. It is however outside the scope of this video to cover the exact details, but maybe in another video later. After completing any map on Ascension difficulty, make sure you check your shop to see if it has a Divine Crystal for sale. The fastest and easiest way to get XP is by playing Deeper Well on Ascension Hardcore. Set it to Survival and change the starting wave to 1 instead of the default 8. By using a DPS pet like the Snowman and standing in front of the forge, all you have to do is start the round. The pet will take care of everything. This will get you roughly 15 million XP in 2 minutes with virtually 0 effort. No need to build any defenses or even move your mouse. With this method you can get from level 0 to 90 in an hour, and 90 to 100 will take another 2 hours. Restart after wave 3 or 4 if you want the fastest XP. If however you also want a chance to get a Divine Crystal in your Tavern Shop, then complete wave 5 to reset the shop. That's all for now. I hope you learned something new and found the video useful. If you have any questions or ideas for a future video, then leave a comment. Bye bye and good luck.